of people dealing with hearing impairments are baby boomers. From too many rock concerts to that thing we call aging, hearing loss can be frustrating. If your neighbors are complaining because the TV is too loud, or you're tired of asking people over and over again, what did you say? Then it's time to take care of the problem and get back in the loop. And here to help us do that, please welcome Dr. Lacey Brooks with Hearing Aid Express and a longtime client, former Astros manager, Larry Dierker. Hi. Now, Larry, for you, you believe that your hearing loss was something that was hereditary?
I think so. I think it showed up on an Army test when I was about 20.
Yeah.
So, but it didn't really get to the point where I felt dysfunctional until about 10 years ago, and then I realized I had to do something.
Yeah. What was happening?
I wasn't hearing women and children hardly at all. I was having trouble hearing things on the phone. I had to turn the TV up to where it bothered other people.
Yeah.
And
it's interesting.
It was
he
just
says,
a little bit all through all different situations.
Yeah, interesting. He said wasn't hearing women and children. That's because there are certain frequencies that people can hear better.
Yes, ma'am. Depending on what type of hearing loss you have, different tones are audible, and there are some that are not.
Yeah.
The most common hearing loss is the high frequencies, where women and children's voices are.
So when the wife says, "Did you hear me?" they might not have really heard you.
It might not have been selective hearing.
Right. All right. There are several different reasons. Oh, sorry, Larry, you want to say?
I was going to say that it might be part of a bigger plan, the natural selection.
Yeah. There are various reasons for hearing loss.
Yeah.
And some of it can be exposed to loud noise. But what are some of the other things?
Recreation. We're all guilty of going to concerts and being around loud environments. Also, your work can play a part. Of course, aging and is a factor as well. Genetics play a factor in some cases.
It's hard for a lot of people to admit. Like my mom, her whole thing is she goes, "You don't talk like you used to." I'm like, "Mom, I have not changed." No, it's the way you're talking. I'm like, "Okay, then what about the way Dad's talking?" Him too, right? But it is. She finally came to the realization and said, "Okay, maybe I need to get a hearing aid." I think a lot of people put it off because it's an admission that something's wrong, but this is easy to fix.
Right.
And let's talk about how the devices look today as compared as they used to years ago.
Well, you can see this is the hearing aids of the past. Very large behind the ear, the molds.
Mm-hmm.
This portion would go in your ear, and this would be behind your ear. Very visible. This is hearing aids for today. They're very small.
It's tiny. I'm going to lift that up.
When you put them in, you actually can't see them unless you're looking. Even a trained eye has a very difficult time seeing these.
Yeah.
So, and then the other option is something that looks like this, and you can see in comparison to even a dime on this. That's how small they are for comparable.
That is tiny.
They do a lot.
Yeah. And Larry, for you, what kind of difference did that make when you first got them?
Well, it made a great difference. I will say that there's a learning curve because you're hearing things differently, and your brain has to adjust to that. It's not used to it.
Right.
But once you get past that, and it usually doesn't take more than a couple weeks, it's just wonderful. I mean, periodically something will go out, and you'll have to take them back in and get them serviced. And I think the best statement on what they mean for me is that if one goes out, I'm in there the next day.
Yeah.
I'm not waiting around for about a week or two because I don't really need them anyway.
To get something in the mail. Yeah, you can just show up there and say, "Hey, here's the deal. You guys can take care of that." Let's go through some of the signs of possible hearing loss that people should be aware of. And does it help to get in sooner rather than later?
Yes, it does help to get in sooner than later. Some of the signs are if you're hearing but not understanding. That's a big deal. There's a difference between hearing and actually understanding what's said. Also, if sounds are muffled or speech is muffled, like you said, your mom, you said you sound differently. Also, if you're asking people to repeat themselves or having difficulty in noisy situations like restaurants, churches, things of that sort, those are the signs. Those are usually the telltale things. And if you don't realize it, you can ask your spouse because they can usually.
Yeah. It's interesting because when's the last time any of us had our hearing checked? I think I remember kindergarten, and then that was it. How many of you have your hearing checked since then? Not a single person. So.
Well, and that's something that you should do. You know, you have your annual appointments. After you get to a certain age, that's something you need to do yearly,
Right.
every couple of years at least.
Because as a doctor, you realize that, you know, sometimes it's just about amplification, but other times there could be some kind of disease or something that you could
Right.
stop or correct.
Absolutely. There are different types of hearing loss, and it goes into the inner ear or the outer ear portions, depending on where it is, and it's important.
Yeah.
Sometimes hearing loss can be corrected through surgery, and sometimes you need amplification.